I had fun, by the way, hosting 2 weeks ago. It was so fun. I wasn't drunk, but looking at the transcription, you would think I was. How the hell did you guys let me start off by saying Guten Tag? How?
Look, man, I can't control you.
You want to?
No.
All right, your loss.
Hey, everybody, welcome to yet another Star Trek podcast. My name is Drew. I am joined by two very inconsiderate co-hosts. First of all, I'd like to introduce Majeed. Majeed, how are you?
I'm scared. Your energy is so weird.
Yeah, man.
It's so weird.
Yeah, we can talk about that in a moment. I'd also like to introduce Brad. Brad, how are you?
I will be known as the dictator in this episode, sir.
Yeah, let's get that out of the way first, right?
What's happening right now?
Brad, all right, so I need to lay the groundwork for this situation, right? I have worked 5 days in a row, which on most people's schedules isn't a big deal, but I work 10-hour shifts. It's day 5 of 10. So I will have worked 100 consecutive hours before I get a day off. And because of that, Brad has kindly volunteered to take over the show.
So first off, I want to apologize to our listeners for whatever you're listening to right now is the after effects of what I come up with. So I sincerely apologize for everything I've done wrong. And I want to take credit for everything I do right. So I hope you're also equally enjoying yourself as much as you are appalled.
Yeah, see, it doesn't work that way, Brad, because I've been editing this episode for the past 50 episodes, and I haven't edited you out yet, but I have a feeling you're going to be editing me out yet. So, listeners, if there's any gaps in my voice, or maybe if you don't even hear this at all, that's because Brad has gone rogue and taken over the show and is ruling with vicious dictator tendencies.
All right, you know what? Let's be honest here. Well, I'm not gonna cut you out. If anything, I'll just splice your words together, and so that you say something like "Mary had a little lamb."
That's pretty tame for the things that we discuss on this show. Majeed,
Drew hasn't said Mary yet, though.
I have not. I don't think I've said either of those things once in the context of this entire podcast.
Wait, which ones have you not said?
Yeah, Majeed.
Hey, buddy.
We were supposed to record last night.
You mean Friday night?
Friday night. Today is Saturday, right?
Yeah.
I'm working a 12-hour shift tomorrow, and I didn't work one today.
Uh-huh.
And I'm working one tomorrow. And we're recording, like, late for me. Why? Why are we do the thing?
So, apparently, here's a couple of things that happen, right? Time is linear, and it's just like a flat circle. There's no way for me as a non-bradsexual to manipulate time in such a way that I can watch 2 episodes in an hour's time.
Wait. Did you just say bradsexual?
Did sound like that. Did you edit him? Brad, your superpowers have already kicked in.
You don't even know how to reply to that, do you?
Brad Central.
You know what? I'm just gonna skip over this part. Let's go to the next part.
Oh, what is the next part?
I don't know. I'm just messing with you guys.
Yeah. Anyway, Drew. Yeah. So there was no way for me to watch. So my whole struggle, my whole thing was laid out on Twitter. I said there has to be a way for me to be able. Oh, Brad, by the way, Twitter is where we go to write things, interact with other podcasters.
Wait, you mean it's not like a bird call?
We've said things on that Twitter page that I think you would find funny. And then we wrote other things in that Twitter page which you would not find funny. Something that I'm posting right now is actually about what you think of Twitter feuds, like what you think they are.
Yeah, you know what? Just I'm sure it's not two birds fighting, but you know.
Too late. It's already out there. It's out there, buddy. And if you had a Twitter page, you'd know. You could.
I technically have Twitter and Instagram. I just never use either of them.
That's
just
not
like-
true. You
I just
posted
like,
a baby photo today.
No, that was my wife. I don't
Wait. Does your wife have access to your Twitter page? Or Instagram?
Probably.
Wait, so your wife posted a baby video on your Instagram.
More than likely, yeah.
Why not does she use hers?
I don't know. So she has like a professional one and then like a family one, and then she's got like 5 of them.
This is not okay.
She's more active on Instagram than I'll ever be. I can assure you that much.
Yes, but she's posing as you. So when I send you an ultra nerdy reel, it's going to her.
Well, no, it's like she'll sometimes log on to like my stuff so she can post for my family to see my baby.
You're missing the point.
So is she double tapping the post so Drew knows that you read it, and then is she summarizing it for you after she watches it?
I don't really understand what you just asked me, but I'm gonna
So
go
if,
with yes.
if Drew sends you a reel and it's funny and she doesn't laugh, is she then going to hit the reaction button so Drew knows that you saw it, but then go to you 5 minutes later and say, hey, Drew sent you something, it was this, is that supposed to be funny?
Now, I mean, I know what it means, but could you do me for a favor for the listeners to explain what a reel is?
I don't know. I'm on Red Sky. What is it called, Drew? Blue Sky?
Blue Sky. Yeah.
Yeah, like
I just got you an invite for the podcast today.
Yeah. We also are on Threads, which is great.
Yep.
I don't know what Threads is yet. Apparently it's Twitter, but wait, hang on. We talked about this last week. We talked about Threads last week, and we still have no idea what Threads is.
One of us has an idea. Guys, we have 2 episodes of Strange New Worlds to talk about, and I'm pretty excited to talk about these 2. So what do you say we get into it?
Yeah, let's do it to it.
All right.
Engage.
Brad, edit that out.
Which part? Do it to it or engage?
Editor's choice.
Drew's gonna have like this high pitched voice.
Nah, I just make you sound like Elvin.
Who's that?
Alvin and the Chipmunks.
I'll leave it
Oh.
open.
It did
right,
sound like you said Elvin, though.
Yeah, he said Elvin, like one of those mages.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm editing this part out, so you know.
Oh, damn.
This week, we watched Charades. Or last week we did. Well, Majeed didn't. He was supposed to, but he waited until the last minute and watched them both at the same time.
I watched it.
Did you do like 2 times speed like I suggested?
No, I also posted about that on Twitter. Apparently, you can't watch episodes in 2x speed because you don't know what's going to happen. You know what's happening.
That's how time travel happens. If you watch a Star Trek episode at 2x speed, you break the time barrier.
Edit that part out. Cut that.
Let's start with Charades, or what Brad likes to call the sequel to Season 1 episode, Spock Amok. The Enterprise is on their way to Vulcan, surveying the moon Kirkov, when an ancient Kirkovian civilization vanished for unknown reasons. It was rumored that they had advanced medical knowledge that well surpassed current knowledge. Nurse Chapel is very excited, and she's preparing for an interview with the Vulcan Science Academy, while Spock is preparing for a ceremonial engagement meal with T'Pring and her parents. We also learn that Spock has learned how to selectively smell things like human body odor, for example. And he also really enjoys cleaning up after Sam Kirk and occasionally enjoys a nice girl's night out. Spock will be flying a shuttle to survey the moon. Unexpectedly, Nurse Chapel decides to join him in preparation of said interview with the Science Academy. And almost immediately, they detect an anomaly, a rupture in space-time, likely caused by Majeed not watching the episode last week.
I wish I was famous enough.
So naturally, we speed up the episode to 2x speed and then fly in to get a better look. And naturally, things go horribly wrong, just like Drew warned them. Spock wakes up with Pike, Chaplin, and Mango hovering over him, explaining that he was in a shuttle accident. And, dun dun dun, now he's fully human. In the cruise inspection of the shuttlecraft, they find a device that allows them to contact the Kirkovian automated customer service line. They speak with Yellow, who confirms there is an outage. Who confirms there is no problem, and ends the call, leaving them to figure things out on their own. We now follow Spock in his daily activities, seeing that he now has the emotional stability of a teenager. He loves bacon, and he can't control his attitude. Man, he's just breaking out of his shell here. It becomes clear that this is way too much for Spock to handle when he yells at Sam Kirk for leaving crumbs on the table. Don't test me, Kirk. I will break you.
I have to ask. Like,
yes.
Am I the only one who just lost their crap for like 5 minutes when that happened?
Yeah. No, I was crying laughing.
I had to stop the episode and just laugh.
I love human Spock. I want that.
Like,
Yeah.
like the bacon obsession, the I will break you. That was perfect.
Ethan Peck is a delight. What a great actor. He's doing a wonderful job in this role.
Imagine being an actor trying to play a character who's an alien. And then that character who's an alien now has to be human. And then that alien character who's now human has to pretend being an alien.
You know, I have to
That's
admit
layers.
I have to admit that Ethan Peck, when he pretends to be a Vulcan as a human, did a far better job than what's the character name from Discovery? Michael Burnham.
Oh. You'd never miss an opportunity to like take a poop on that show.
I am not a fan of that writing, unfortunately.
You're the reason why I haven't finished season 4.
I just had a realization that Brad is Triumph the Comic Insult Dog. Because he likes to poop on things.
So what you're saying is someone has their hand up his butt.
He's going to edit you.
I am. You know what? I changed my name. I'm not the dictator. I am the editor.
Sounds equally sexy.
For 1 week, buddy. Don't get it over your head.
Oh, the power has gone to his head.
So, in the meantime, Chapel starts looking for a way to fix Spock, but she's having no success. Meanwhile, Spock's mother, Amanda, arrives aboard the Enterprise. He tries to persuade her with a very clever hat that everything is okay. But it doesn't work. She is not tricked by his teenage emotional imbalances. But with the help of the Enterprise crew and his mother, Spock learns how to Vulcan again. Meanwhile, Chapel devises a plan to contact the Kirkovian IVR with the help of Uhura and Ortegas. T'Pring and her parents arrive in the Enterprise, and despite Pike's culinary expertise, he fails to stall the ceremony from occurring, although he does impress T'Pring's father, who, side note, I don't know if you recognize him, Brad would, Majeed wouldn't, because he doesn't believe the show exists, but that was Avasarala's second husband.
Who's that?
Not even going to respond.
I have to admit, like, I loved the father character. It was like one of those guys where it's like, oh, this is nice, and the wife's like, no, it's not. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
Did you see yourself in that relationship?
Yeah.
Brad?
Did it hit a little close to home? Was it life imitating art?
No, I can assure you that is definitely not the case.
Well, you better change your password to your Instagram then, buddy.
Well, we want him to edit the episode, so can you do it after you edit the episode?
Yes, please. While all this is occurring, Chapel, Uhura, and Ortegas fly into the Singularity, and they end up in the Krakowian customer service help desk. They get to speak to Yellow in person. Yellow attempts to explain that they are outside the warranty period. Chapel is able to convince Yellow to assist them by confessing her love for Spock, giving them information on how to make a cure for Spock. Meanwhile, Spock is faced with doing a mind meld, and while being human, he cannot perform. Boy, that sounds like a problem many humans endure. Pike attempts to stall further by playing a game of charades. Chapel arrives just in the nick of time to give Spock the cure, thus allowing him to mind meld with T'Pring. After the ceremony completes, Spock breaks face and admits that he was human the entire time. This ultimately leads to T'Pring and Spock taking a break, and Spock confesses his affection for Chapel and kisses her. To sum up the episode, Vulcans also love Pike's cooking, except when they can't. Humans smell worse than we think, and Spock makes an excellent human. Does that mean Spock smells worse than he thinks? I don't know. Guys, what did you think of the episode?
Yeah, so I actually really enjoyed this episode. This one took me by surprise. I didn't expect how much I was going to enjoy it. I really did like the interaction with Yellow. It felt very close to home with my customer service experience.
Yeah, all three of us, I think, can relate to that one. Boy, I was having nightmares of customers complaining about the IVR system and not being able to get a representative.
I do stand by my original writing there, Drew, that it is like the kind of the sequel to that season 1 episode, Spock Amok.
You can't take credit for your writing. You can take credit for editing the episode or writing the synopsis, not both. So you have to choose. Choose your pain.
Whoa.
Choose your pain.
You know what? I'm going to just take credit for the editing then, I guess.
You better not edit me out. But yes, this is a perfect sequel to that episode. You're absolutely right.
It was better than expected. Did you guys catch that the hat Spock was wearing to cover his ears was similar to the one that they used in TOS when they had to also pass him off as not being Vulcan? We just watched the episode recently.
I mean, if you're saying they used a wool knit hat to cover his ears, then sure. I mean, that's kind of a common style.
You know what? I thought I found a pretty cute like Easter egg, and you're ruining it for me.
See, I wanted to see the director's cut where they used the toy hat that they tried to sell years ago with the lights on the top.
Oh my God, I remember that.
Yeah, there's a meme of that flying around the internet already. It's absolutely delightful.
There were a lot of really good reactions in this episode. Just things that I wish I could just gif. The one of Pike like sipping tea was a good reaction when the parents are in the room and Pike is just there watching.
Where he's kind of like in the background. He's like,
yeah.
I really don't know what to do in this situation.
right. He's just sipping tea. Another one, of course, was Kirk. Like, hey, you can't kill me. I die in a random episode played by William Shatner. Somebody memed that, and I can't find the meme anymore. But it was the woman yelling at the cat. It was that same energy, and I loved it. I can't find that. And the last thing that I just really loved was, brace yourself, Ortegas in this episode.
What?
Yeah. I was kind of semi live tweeting it. I was like, oh my God, I might be hashtag Team Ortegas. I mean, let's see how the rest of the season goes, but she was actually pretty cool.
Where she's poking fun at Spock.
Yeah. There was one part where they're telling the story and it just cuts to her at the punchline. It definitely gave me Homer Simpson vibes.
And then Spock kind of like blows it up way over than it really needed to be.
Yeah. It's just such a good episode. Brad, I know you don't like the heartfelt, touchy-feely stuff like that, so it must have been torture for you.
Edited.
What'd you guys think of the Kirkovians?
They were just fart clouds, right?
I mean, basically.
Well,
Yeah.
no,
They were essentially Melvar.
No, those were like that was AI, wasn't it? That wasn't like a part of the actual Karkovians. It was just like a automated system.
Have we seen a Karkovians before? I'm sorry. Have you guys seen a Karkovians before? Okay.
First time. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the yellow was blue. They were just automated systems that were there to interact with people. I don't think it was an actual Karkovian, was it?
Karkovian GPT?
Kirkovians were a sentient, non-corporeal life form that inhabited interdimensional space. They were originally native to the moon of planet Kirkovian, or to the planet of Kirkov. Yellow is a Kirkovian, so...
Okay, I stand corrected, and I'm going to edit the entire part out.
So, remember how I said earlier, I'm not a Brad sexual, so I can't turn back time? I think the better term should be Bradovian.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Bradovian.
Bradovian.
Thank you, Majeed. I appreciate that.
He's like, edit it. I love it so much. Edit it. Cut.
How do you guys feel about T'Pring at this point?
I love T'Pring.
I feel bad for her.
I do too, in a way.
Because, like, I really like the actress. I like the character. Spock and Chapel, I love the crush that's going on between them, but I feel like that's disjustice for T'Pring.
I mean, it's more than just a crush, buddy. It was like a one-night stand.
I mean, the thing with T'Pring is, like, she's trying really hard, and she's just kind of in a situation where, whether it's Starfleet duty or Spock just being in love with another woman, it just doesn't seem to be working out for her, and that is unfortunate. But
she was in denial before, wasn't she? About Spock being in love with Chapel.
Well,
they did an episode where it was like they needed to prove that T'Pring and Spock weren't really like a thing, and Spock kissed Chapel.
Right.
It must have been such a hard day for the actor.
Yeah, I think it must have been. So, guys, let me hear it. Overall, break this episode down. What worked for you? What didn't? Let's get to the heart of the matter. Brad, you're up first.
Honestly, it felt really like a good episode, like a fun episode to just watch, enjoy. I mean, it's not like one of my favorite episodes, don't get me wrong, but it was nothing that you have those episodes that don't really progress like overall storylines. It's just kind of like a filler episode, but it's a fun filler episode. That's kind of where I stood with this one.
How about you, GD?
Every episode this season has been a filler episode, though, hasn't it? Didn't we get alluded to that the Gorn were going to be the big bad this season?
The first episode, they left it at that, as in, hey, the Gorn are coming, and then there you go.
Yeah. I really expected that the Gorn would be a pretty big antagonist this year, and all we've heard is them pass in motion.
The thing is that Strange New Worlds is not a serialized show. So for them to introduce that in the first episode and not deliver, there's nothing really unexpected about that.
I think I maybe want to clarify what I was referring to as a filler episode. Like, to me, it's no progression of like the characters other than maybe like Spock and Chapel, I think, in this. And it was really just to push them together more so.
Yeah.
It was also to show us that Sam Kirk is still alive.
Thankfully.
We see Sam in the next one.
We do. We get Sam Kirk twice.
Spoiler.
Wait, what?
Spoiler alert.
For who?
The people that are listening.
The name of the episode's in the title. Assuming Brad puts it there.
Wow, Brad is going to just rip you a new one in editing.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Look, great episode. I really enjoyed this. Charades is a lot of fun. I don't know how I feel about the Spock Chapel pairing. I guess it's fine. If they're going to go with it, they're certainly doing it well. But I just don't have I don't have any desire to root for them as a couple because I don't know. I'm just not there with it.
Is he not good enough for her, Drew?
No.
All right, there you go.
I don't know. I guess it's just because I know that was never a thing in the the rest of the timeline, right? So
yeah, they never really hinted at it in TOS, right?
They did. Absolutely. In the first season, they did.
Which episode?
Oh, buddy, you're asking a guy who doesn't know like how much deodorant he put on yesterday.
All right. Well, go back and find it, or if the listeners remember, please, because I don't have any recollection of that. I might be wrong. I've been wrong before.
Yeah, I mean, there was. Oh, right. No, it was. Wasn't it Naked Time actually, where she was all up on Spock?
But she was also like literally under the influence. So, look, man, you give Brad a couple drinks, he's all up on you.
Ah, man, Brad is like a baby kangaroo.
Don't edit it.
Just
Don't
wants to
edit me,
hop in
bro.
the sack.
Don't edit me.
I don't
Does that
even
one
know
work?
what that means.
Does that reference work? Brad's like a baby kangaroo. He just wants to hop in the sack.
What? What does that even mean?
No one knows what it means. It's provocative. It gets people thinking. All right. Hey, Drew, let's keep the ball moving, buddy. Let's keep it going. Let's go to the next episode.
Well, in any case, yeah, I enjoyed this. I'm not on Team Spockle or Team Check.
Wouldn't it be closer like to Spackle?
Spackle?
I'm Team Spoiler, but which, by the way, is a thing. Frakes, Jonathan Frakes, coined that term during filming of those old scientists because Ethan Peck and Jack Quaid got along so well.
Oh boy,
Yeah, they gave him the name Spoiler.
that's dangerous. But
I
and
love
anyway, we're not there. Yeah, fun episode. I enjoyed it. There we go. Moving along. All right, next up, we watched Lost in Translation, starring Bill Murray. I mean, not starring Bill Murray.
Featuring Bill Murray.
Featuring the artist formerly known as Bill Murray. The crew of the Enterprise heads to the Bannon's Nebula to help activate a Starfleet gas station, a.k.a. deuterium refinery. Upon activation of the refinery, Uhura starts hearing a strange signal, but when Pike asks to hear it, there's no record of one ever coming in. Determined to find the mysterious signal, Uhura obsesses over finding out exactly what happened. She heads down to engineering to recalibrate the systems by using a how-to guide from everyone's favorite blind engineer, Ray Charles. I mean, Hemmer.
Oh, just really quick. You guys said it, that Hemmer would return. And I think the prediction was he would come back as his brother, Vemmer. That was by Brad. Did any of us say zombie Hemmer? Did any of us have that bet?
No.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that was only you who said it was Vemmer, but
No, it was one of you guys.
It was me, and I called him Kemmer.
Oh, close enough.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I did not. Zombie Hemmer was not on my bingo scorecard this week.
It should have been.
It should have been.
It tracks with the nonsense that we spew on this podcast.
Speaking of zombie Hemmer, Uhura eventually makes her way to the turbolift, and then she hears that strange sound again and sees zombie Hemmer. Brad, real quick. Were you thinking that this was the Breen the entire time that noise was playing out?
Oh, yeah, totally.
No, I wasn't. But now that you mention it, it does sound very similar to it. So
Yeah.
I thought it was the Breen.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Majeed's a big fan of the Breen.
Yeah,
Hey,
no.
Majeed, could you clarify for our listeners what the Breen are?
Yeah, totally. I'm just gonna go to Google for no obvious reason. But I think for the sake and the interest of time, maybe Drew explains because he's host.
The Breen are villains in Deep Space Nine.
Oh, yeah.
Don't
well,
they
I mean,
show
if
up
you
in
wouldn't go that
TNG?
By name, but they're never on
Okay.
camera. They don't appear until season 7 of DS9.
That's right.
Yeah,
never appearing on camera.
they're mysterious.
They always wear like a biosuit.
Yeah, they're in like an environmental suit.
Yeah.
Because their planet is so frigid that like I guess they're just not used to surviving in normal temperatures like we do. And also they speak like robots. And it sounds almost identical to the sound that we heard in this episode. So, after Uhura spots Zombie Hammer in the turbolift, she makes her way to sick bay, where Mbenga chalks it off to Uhura being overworked, a lack of sleep, and having deuterium poisoning from working around the nacelles. The good doc tells her that she is not clear to go back to work until she gets some sleep. She attempts to get some rest, but like Drew, she's an insomniac, and that just doesn't seem to work out for her. She hears noises and then finds herself on an Earth-like planet.
You know, I gotta interject here. If Mbengo was a good doctor, he would have given her like a shot of tequila and be like, "Hey, this is gonna help you."
Yeah, I mean, your doctor is your bartender.
That's how Starfleet goes.
You're gonna stop. You're gonna stop trying to trigger me.
Anyway, Jim Kirk beams over to the Enterprise, where he and his brother Sam meet up and head to the bar. Jim received a promotion. He's the first officer of the Farragut now. And this clearly rubs Sam the wrong way. Meanwhile, Uhura is frustrated that no one is able to help her. Somehow finds her way sitting next to Jim. He tries to hit on her, but then doesn't, and he gives her an offer of assistance. After another hallucination, she ends up breaking his nose. But rather than go to sick bay, Uhura takes him back to her quarters and puts her trust in Jim. So, I guess that's the way to trust somebody. Break their nose first, right?
Oh yeah, that's like Majeed hit me in the face with a book.
Open-handed. It was paperback
Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
No, it was a hardcover. I remember that.
Oops.
Spine or no spine?
No spine.
No, I didn't hit him in the spine.
Spine of the book.
Oh, my bad. That too.
While this has been going on, Pelia and Una are at the refinery trying to attempt repair the station, and they get it up and running, but the two are clearly butting heads. Pelia explains that she found evidence of sabotage. They discover a Starfleet lieutenant, Saul Ramon, has sabotaged the refinery. Meanwhile, back on the Enterprise, Uhura's hallucinations are getting worse. They head to sickbay, where the doctor is examining Ramon. Uhura realizes that she is hearing the same sounds as he is, but he quickly escapes, despite being well guarded. Uhura eventually finds Ramon at a power console attempting to sabotage the ship. Jim saves Uhura in the nick of time, but Ramon dies.
You know, I felt like that was going to be a bigger thing than it really was in the episode. Like, he blew up, like, what, a port nacelle or something?
Yeah.
And then they're like, yep, we're fine. Don't worry about it, guys.
I feel like in other episodes of Star Trek that would have blown up the ship.
Or at least, hey, put everybody in red alert and be like, okay, we're going on lockdown, folks.
Right. Well, I guess since they know who did it and they're dead, lockdown is no longer necessary.
Well, at least he didn't press the button to evacuate an entire part of the ship.
That
'Cause
one
it's right in the
time,
console.
Kirk didn't actually do it. He didn't actually press the button.
Kirk's a murderer.
Not yet.
I also love the reaction of Kirk coming onto the ship for the very first time. I know we're not there at the recap at what we love and what we hate, but just seeing him basically recreate the same exact scene that we saw in Errand of Mercy.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Errand of Mercy? No Mercy?
Yeah, Errand of Mercy. Yeah.
Oh, yes. I remembered something.
I think it was Errand of Mercy. Now you're making me question myself. Anyway, Uhura struggles to hold on with everything she is seeing. She comes to a realization that she and Ramon have been receiving some sort of signal from the Breen. I mean, we don't know who it's from, but anyway, with the help of Sam, they figure out that aliens are attempting to communicate through Uhura and using the visions that she is seeing. This allows her to come to the realization that the refinery is actually killing them, and they are living in the nebula. Pike trusts Uhura's conclusion and destroys the refinery. Ultimately, the aliens are saved. Sam congratulates Kirk, but expects Jim to apologize, and that ends up with Sam's just storming off in anger. And then Jim finally meets Spock for the first time. Some of the episode, refineries can cause hallucinations, kill entire species, and break up brotherhoods. And also global warming and stuff.
Global warming sucks.
Guys, what'd you think of the episode?
Oh, great episode. It started off slow for me, but Pike being so worried about Uhura is adorable. He's definitely zaddy. And then him putting his trust in Uhura and just blowing up this working refinery is fantastic.
How do you pronounce Uhura's name?
Uhura.
You change your pronunciations, though.
Uhura. 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 Uhura.
It's pronounced Uhura.
Uhura. Uhura.
You're gonna need to edit him out.
Like him. Mr. Man, just because you know how to pronounce somebody's name, the first time we met, you mispronounced my name for a year. You're like, oh, this is America. We speak America here. I'll call you Mike.
So I was talking to the guy next to you who is named Mike, probably.
Oh my God, that's right. There was a guy. Mike.
So if you misheard me saying your name for a year, it's because I was talking to the guy next to you and giving the direction of conversation. You were probably just thinking I was talking to you at the same time.
Maybe.
I mean, let's just get down to the bottom of it, though.
Ow.
I mean, Brad was ignoring you, and it seems like it was race related.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I clawed my way into Brad's life. I feel like I've kind of held on to this friendship through thick and thin.
Mostly thick.
Yeah, it feels like an unrequited type of friendship. Like I desperately want to be Brad's friend, but he keeps moving away.
I get that vibe from him too, if I'm being honest. And
yeah.
You know, I truly want to apologize to both of you. It's not that I don't want to be your friends. It's just
I can see you reading that off the screen. I can see you reading that apology off the screen. You're wearing glasses.
Apparently, the sense of smell is very strong within myself.
What?
And the odors that you
What?
perspirate at times is something that takes me a while to. Yeah, actually,
stop.
That's true. You do.
I smell
you do
fantastic.
smell fantastic.
Don't you dare! I smell great, and I know I smell great.
Okay,
I put a lot of effort
let's
into
move
it.
on. All right, before we get into that, I don't know if I told you this, Drew. No, I don't know if I ever told you this.
I just want somebody to compliment me on how I smell. I feel really left out of this.
I haven't hugged you in a while. You smelled great last time I hugged you. Like
Thank you.
like Axe Man's body spray.
Axe? No, I don't wear Axe.
Oh,
So he doesn't remember what you smell like.
you smell great though. True. Hey, listen, there were a lot of nice little cutesy Kirk things on the episode. When Kirk is talking to Uhura. This is where I left off, you guys. Sideline me. You guys sidetracked me for a long time. When Spock is talking to Uhura, he mentions that, oh, your Vulcan friend, he messed up in that chess game. He could have won. And this is, again, just kind of, it gives me all the warm and fuzzies inside because of all the epic chess games that they're going to have in the future.
Yeah, that was definitely a nice nod that you three of us are very familiar with. Just based on our coverage of the original series.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't catch it at first. When I rewatched the episode to write the summary, I noticed that part. It was like, oh, Kirk made a comment about Spock not doing so well in chess.
Brad's like, when I rewatched the episode at normal playback speed, I caught the reference.
That's delightful.
You're delightful.
I know. Shut up, baby. I know it.
Shut up, baby. This is a really good episode. By the way, Zombie Hammer scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, so let's talk about Hemmer for a second.
I have to say, like, that was actually what drew my interest in this season. I was like,
Are you
oh
calling
my
me
God.
out? Hold on. Are you calling me out?
No, I was just saying, like, that actually like got my interest because, like, I love the horror stuff.
Because you said my name.
Wait, you love Uhura stuff? You love Uhura stuff?
You both are gone. Here on in, it's the Brad Show.
Oh God, we should get a third-party editor. Somebody that's going to be it's just going to be what's the word? Nice.
Yet another Brad Trek broadcast.
Apparently.
He's going to add at the end, this podcast brought to you by Brad and Brad alone. Written by, directed, starring Brad.
All voices done by Brad.
Brad, what were you saying about the horror stuff?
I was saying that the horror stuff is really that drew me in because when I first started watching this episode, I thought it was going to take a different turn. I thought it was going to be more horror based rather than this. Hey, we have these like dying aliens in a nebula type of episode. Don't get me wrong, I did enjoy the episode, but it was a very different direction than I had anticipated.
Yeah, they were basically poplars.
Poplars?
Drew gets
Like
the
from
reference.
Futurama?
Yeah. Like they're
not.
The thing that you're enjoying, the thing that's giving you use, is actually a life, a being, and you can't continue using it.
I don't really think that's the best
No, it
way
tracks.
to describe it.
No, it tracks.
Because they ate the poplars.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't.
but they were still sentient beings, though.
I don't disagree with that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But anyway, I would love to talk about Kirk.
Please hit me. What you got?
Um,
Wait, which one?
What do you mean, which one?
Sam or Jim?
Oh, Jim. Let's talk about Jim Kirk, Paul Wesley, right? I'm really enjoying him. I was skeptical about the whole Kirk thing, but I think they're using him very wisely, in small doses, mostly as, alternate universe Kirk up to this point. But now we finally met the quote-unquote real Jim Kirk. And I think Paul Wesley is doing a great job.
Yeah, he's really stretching his legs this season.
Technically, we met him 2 episodes earlier in a video call.
That doesn't count.
It doesn't count. This is our first. Well, no, Brad is right. Brad's the editor. He's right. Anyway, Brad's right. We did meet him, but this is like our first interaction. Him interacting with canon TOS characters.
Right.
Yeah. But I did like him. I was kind of right there on the fence with you, Drew, where I wasn't sure about having them include. I was already on the fence with Spock being in this. Yeah. But then they bring in Jim. I like him as a regular. I really, as much as I like him as Kirk, I don't want to see him become like a reoccurring character. If that makes sense.
Well, because then the show was just about Kirk, and we already have a show about Kirk.
Yeah. Like, I think that's part of what's kind of a bit of like a shame where I actually really like him as Kirk. He does have that very young attitude. I think it's a cross between the Kelvin timeline and what we have, I feel.
Yeah.
I would be happy, though, for them to limit his appearances, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that we're going to see him again. I'm kind of hoping that maybe we cool it on his appearances from here forward. But that said, like I think what they're doing with the role has been just wonderful so far, and I think Paul Wesley has found a perfect balance between William Shatner's and Chris Pine's takes on the character.
Yeah. So we're getting a season 3 of Strange New Worlds, right?
I believe so, yeah.
So it would be amazeballs if we can get an appearance from George Kirk Sr.
There's been some talk about that, but nothing official. I mean, Do you think that they would get Hemsworth?
Why?
To do
Why
it?
would it be Hemsworth?
Because he played George Kirk.
So Zachary Quinto played Spock in the
Fair.
Kelvin timeline, and there's a
I
different
thought that's
guy
where
playing him.
I thought that's where you were going with it.
Oh goodness, no. First
Okay.
of all, I think Chris Hemsworth is too big to do an episode of Paramount TV television,
I agree 100%.
unless they get a lesser known Hemsworth, like Liam.
Yeah, I
Is
was about
Liam
to
even a
say that.
Hemsworth? Right. Get a Hemsworth you can afford. Get a Jordan Hemsworth. He's not a real Hemsworth. I just, don't me. What's it? What else you want to talk about, Kirk, buddy?
That was it.
Oh,
I'm just really enjoying the performance and what they're doing, and I hope that they continue doing that tastefully.
yeah.
That's all.
I posted on Twitter while watching the episodes that we've seen Paul Wesley's Jim Kirk more this season than we've seen Sam Kirk. And I think that's wild because, again, not complaining. Jim Kirk's Paul Wesley's great. Sam Kirk, though, is actually assigned to the Enterprise.
Right. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think that is, potentially problematic, But, I mean, we only had Sam Kirk on, I think, 1 or 2 episodes last season. And Jim was a surprise for the season finale, and it was alternate universe Jim. So now that they've, removed that Band-Aid, I guess the urge to use the character has risen. But anyway.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you guys about Hemmer because, as you know, Hemmer was a big love of mine in last season, and I think they killed him unceremoniously and foolishly, and I think they screwed up, and I wish they didn't do it, and I hate them for it.
They killed him off in Brad's favorite episode.
I do agree that I wish they didn't kill him off. I thought it was such a waste for such a wonderful character.
Yeah, and quite frankly, Pelia is not living up to Hemmer, in my opinion.
You sound like Una right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's right.
I remember you mentioned something, Drew, in one of our previous casts that you said that it felt like Pella was introduced for just like one single episode. And it still feels that way, even though this is like after that that build up for that previous episode where Singh goes back in time. Like, it just feels so disappointing compared to Hemmer.
See, the thing is, Hemmer actually was an engineer that did engineering things, where Pelia is just old and experienced.
Yeah, she's very experienced. She's basically the Dr. House of that ship.
Right, she's providing that wisdom beyond her years to the crew, and serves that role. But like for me, like I want an engineer that's gonna fix some stuff, and I haven't really gotten that vibe from her yet.
She's really just more comic relief, if anything.
Yeah,
Drew likes his engineers that engineer and his doctors that drink.
correct. But I mean, I think the doses that we've seen of her have been adequate, I guess. I just wish that we would get more of that character. And I wish we had more of Hemmer, too, and not zombie Hemmer necessarily. But it was really nice and heartwarming to see Bruce Horak on the screen again in that role, because I really, really enjoyed that character last season. And, I felt like we didn't get enough of him. But I also felt something by seeing him on the screen again, especially that last moment when he stood and smiled at Uhura before fading away into, non-existence.
What did it make you feel? Can we dive into the range of emotions you went through and how intense they were?
Sadness and hope.
Mm-hmm. On what scale?
3.
Out of
3.
Really?
I don't know. No, it was like, look, man, I don't often get emotional about TV programs, so, it was pretty low. Like on a 1 to 10.
Do you feel like this was their way of like giving Hemmer like a proper farewell?
It certainly felt like it.
Yeah,
Which
so
is funny because it wasn't even Hemmer.
I
It was
know, I
another
know.
species.
they certainly didn't go back for his body. He's still on that planet.
Yep.
Oh, too soon.
One other thing that I wanted to talk about was I do think that the ending fell a little flat because while it was great that Pike trusted Uhura and they fired the torpedoes and they blew up the platform, and then Pike just looks at her and is like, so did we do it? And she's like, yep. And he's like, okay, mission accomplished, let's go. And they just flew off into the sunset instead of like, sticking around and trying to research these aliens or, maybe verifying that they did it or any kind of anything that would back up the fact that he just did something that's going to set Starfleet back.
Yeah, like it was more of like the traditional, okay, nothing really matters. We're all done here, folks.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
this is why lower decks exist. This is why the California class comes in afterwards and cleans up the mess.
So that's what the crossover episode is.
Probably. Maybe.
Well, remember, they're in the future.
I'm really excited though for next episode. Oh, it's
Yeah.
finally here.
That
it's
crossover episode
finally
is
here.
next week.
Those old scientists. Oh God, it's so
Well,
good.
I'm looking forward to the that one, of course, but the one after it. I think it's the third. They're gonna do a musical.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
gonna be good too. Is that the season
Watching the
finale?
trailer. No,
Oh, thank God.
I don't think. No,
No,
because this
Okay,
was
good.
episode 5 and 6.
Great.
So
Well, then that's
Anyways.
7 and 8 coming up.
7 and 8. Yeah, there's 10 in the season, I
Oh,
believe.
thank God. Yeah, baby.
So, guys, hit me with your final thoughts. Brad, you're up.
See, like with this episode, it started off really strong for me, but I feel it finished fairly weak. It was in my mind a false advertisement where it's like, hey, this is like a horror style episode, and then it shifts to a different style of episode, and I enjoyed it overall. It's not like a bad one, but it just felt it was nice to see Hemmer, but it felt at the end of it nothing really mattered kind of situation, and I think it was more to try to get Jim on board to meet Spock in the end,
Majeed, what do you think?
Oh man, good episode. Like Brad, I expected something else going in. I don't watch these previews normally ahead of time, so I had no idea what I was going in for. So when I saw the title Lost in Translation, I expected something like Tower of Babel, where it was, nobody knowing what's being said. Everybody misunderstanding each other. And the only person that knew how to fix it was Uhura, because she's a linguist, right? Is that what she does? Okay.
Yeah, she's a communications officer.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, still overall good episode. Awesome acting by Uhura's actress, and great right hook.
Yeah, she's a puncher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like this episode. But I kind of understand what Brad is saying, where it kind of started out slow. Or wait, no, it was the other way around, wasn't it?
Yeah, it started up fast to me and then
Yeah.
kind of slowed down.
I think the ending was a little rushed and fell a little flat, but I liked the intent behind it. And I like the idea that Pike is really, he trusts his crew implicitly, because he needs them obviously to trust him implicitly as well too. But I think he recognizes that it's not a one-way trust, right? It goes both ways.
I think thinking about it a little more, Uhura did open up a lot about the death of her family and how that impacted her, and how she never really talked about it before. I think that was like the ultimate message they were trying to convey, but it just, to me, it felt more of like a secondhand thought than the main message.
Yeah, I would agree. All right, guys. So that said, we've got 2 episodes coming up in a couple weeks, including our good friends Boimler and Mariner. These Old Scientists, followed by Under the Cloak of War, which I don't believe is the musical.
I thought it said August 3rd. Or is that
August 3rd is the musical, buddy.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, so maybe they're switching the episodes around, or that is the name of it. I don't know, because they were calling it in the trailer. What was it? Something Rhapsody or something?
Oh, well, I don't know, maybe. But
anyway, the musical is going to be coming up on August 3rd, so that's in 2 weeks.
We will get to it when we get to it.
That's pretty accurate, because I'm pretty sure Majeed's going to be on vacation, which means he won't watch the episodes until like an hour before. So he's going to watch them both at twice speed and not have any clue what's going on in either.
Does he have any idea what's going on right now?
He does not. He is not listening to either one of us. I think he may actually be legitimately having a technical issue. This is delightful. We are watching Majeed troubleshoot his sound in real time, and he has no idea what's going on. Brad, you're going to need to fix this in post.
Clearly.
I guess I don't know, Brad, should we just end without him?
If we need to, we should.
We might need to. All right.
Oh my god, I finally got sound back.
Oh, there you are. What the hell happened?
I don't know. I think it selected Discord's like.
Oh my god.
Select a different thing. Okay. I want to go eat.
All right, so we'll see you next time, folks. Thanks for listening.
All right. Good night, everyone. Love you.
Later.
Okay, listen, guys, if you can hear this, there's not much time. Brad is on to me, and he doesn't want me to thank you for listening to yet another Star Trek podcast. He does not want me to tell you that we're a part of the Retro Sessions Network, and I don't think I should even tell you that this episode was recorded on July 22nd, 2023. Brad, Drew, and Majeed hosted it, but really, I mean, he's out of control. Brad is just out of control with this edit, and although I normally edit the show, Brad is going to edit me out of it this week because I don't have the time to edit it this week. And on top of it all, he also wrote the summary for the episode, so it's really gone to his head, and I need your help. The best way you can help us is by leaving us a 5-star review on iTunes, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcast. Just stop on by, leave a review, let people know what you think. And also you can follow us on social media at Yet Another Star Trek Podcast. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Oh crap, I think he hears me. We're on Threads, TikTok, all those places. That's where we're at. But also, I really shouldn't forget to thank William Grobelar Music for writing our theme song, Warp Speed.